welcome back to the Garden with Joy and Holly radio show. Happy to have you along. Time for your garden questions and our garden answers. You got a question, send it on over. GardenTalkRadio@gmail.com. That's GardenTalkRadio@gmail.com. Or you can give us a call toll free, coast to coast at 1-800-927-SHOW. That's 1-800-927-7469. Questions that came in. We'll start with this one. I know it's been asked, but what is the best way to save and dry tomato seeds?
So I like, and I know Joey likes it too, the ferment method, I guess, where you put your tomato seeds in a jar of water. You don't have to use a lot of water, just like enough to kind of cover them a little bit more. And then after a couple days, they kind of do this fermentation thing. Take them out, rinse them, and it gets rid of that gelatinous slime that's around them. And then you let them dry. Label them before you let them dry, and then they're ready.
Label. You want to, and you can rinse them off in a sieve or a strainer that has the holes small enough that will not allow the seeds to pass through, and then you've wasted your entire process there. Now, whenever you are going to select tomatoes in which you are going to save, you want to really wait until the very last possible opportunity to harvest them, almost like when they're rotting on the vine. That means the seeds are most of the seeds, or almost all the seeds, are good to go. There's always going to be some seeds that aren't viable, but that would be the best. And you don't have to worry necessarily about the cross pollination, because very small chance, even if you have multiple varieties in one area, that you're going to have any cross whatsoever. How often do you water your fall garden? Well, first of all, it hadn't rained in about 8 weeks, so you're going to have to do something.
Yeah. I guess this can, it's one of those, your mileage may vary where you're from, but you don't have to water as frequently as you would during the warmest parts of the year. Every couple of days is fine.
Uh-huh.
But like Joey said, where we are, or a lot of people have been experiencing
recently,
dryness.
Recently in the South, they had a couple of hurricanes come through, and they've got 3 feet of water. So that's they're
watering. No. But if you kind of have to feel it out. So if it's been a while since it's rained, definitely want to water. But if it's a situation where you got
to check.
Yeah, you really have to pay attention. But say there's some consistent rain once a week or something, right? In a perfect situation.
Perfect backyard weather system.
You still want to water every few days, because especially if you have those plants growing, they still need water. It doesn't matter if it's super hot or chilly out; they still need water.
Well, you can use a drip irrigation system with a timer on it. We've got ours from dripworks.com. They are returning next year for season 9. For their 5th consecutive year at dripworks.com. They've got all kinds of timers and drip systems for in garden and on containers, and Wi-Fi deals. We let ours go 3 times a day for 20 minutes at 8, noon, and 5, and that is a amount of moisture that we have found to be adequate for pretty much any time of year. Now, there is times where it's rained and we don't water for a couple of days, but other than that, the consistent moisture is what these plants are wanting, and it's not so much that it washes out the nutrients in the soil, in the containers, or in the raised beds. Okay, do you have a good, safe canning recipe for salsa/spaghetti? Salsa tomatoes in general. We have an overabundance of tomatoes this year, and we need to do something with them.
Yeah, so this question actually came from a friend of mine, and I directed her to the Ball Canning website. They have just a ton of tomato recipes. They have, spicy salsas. They have different pasta sauces. They also have the information on just how to can.
What site is it where you can put it? I've got this many pounds. How many quarts or pints?
That's also another one. Is the National Center for Home Food Preservation. Say that I didn't ask how many tomatoes she had, but say you got 40 pounds of tomatoes and you're like, I want to know how many jars this might fill. That's the National Center for Home Food Preservation. But the Ball Canning website has good recipes. that are readily available, where you can make some tried and true recipes for salsa, pasta sauce, even tomato soup, tomato juice, tomato based whatever. There's all sorts of recipes, not just for tomatoes, on the Ball Canning website. And if you are just trying to can, whole vegetables or what have you, the National Center for Home Food Preservation has that information.
Well, with that being said, we are out of time, and we thank you for yours. It's time to find out what we learned today. Go ahead.
I learned that there's a thing, being a master pruner. I had no idea that was a thing.
I did not know that trees, if cut correctly, release a hormone that allows them to heal. I guess in the human world, it's kind of like you get a cut, and red blood cells form to stop the bleeding. It's one of those things. That's fascinating from our guest, Karen Hugh. So very, very interesting. What we learned today is brought to you by Honey Bee Healthy.
Honeybeehealthy.com is serious about the business of bees and helping beekeepers maintain healthy and thriving hives. Whether you're a professional beekeeper or a bee hobbyist, we've got the products to help you maintain a healthy hive. Honeybee Healthy products are made in the USA. Visit honeybeehealthy.com.